Good evening. W.R. Chandler here from Buckhorn Road, and I don't do this very often, a video blog, but this was one time I thought it was necessary because I'm going to talk guns, and I could write about it and describe what I'm talking about to you, or I could just show you. And so I figured it's one of those times. It's nighttime. I figured if I'm a blogger, what better thing to do than wear my pajamas for this presentation, so excuse my casual dress. The reason I'm weighing in tonight is because, well, Dianne Feinstein gone and done it, just like she promised. She was responsible for the last travesty called the assault weapons ban that lasted from 1994 to 2004, and now she's going for another go-around. The word is that her proposed assault weapons ban, as she calls it, will not pass the Senate, which is controlled by the Democrats, let alone the House, which is controlled by the Republicans. But hey, you know what? I remember all those people saying, Obamacare, that'll never pass. But it did. And so my hopes are high that the pro-gun Democrats in the Senate will stand firm, and I really hope that those squishes, those Republicans in the House stand firm, but we'll see. Well, let's get right to it. The ban itself is a lot stronger. The proposed ban that Feinstein came out with today is a lot stronger than the one that got through in 1994. Now, Feinstein has said on the record, on 60 Minutes as a matter of fact, that if she had her way, she'd take all of our guns, all of them. As she said, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. But she knows that she can't get that, so she's going after assault weapons, as she calls them. We'll get to the term assault weapons later on. So, first off, what she considers to be an assault weapon, she wants banned. And what she considers to be an assault weapon is on this here list right here. All of these are on her ban list that she wants done, gone. Gone as far as no more being manufactured, imported, transferred, sold, all those magic words. Now, here's where things get interesting. Weapons that are already owned, like I have one of the, well, this one right here. This right here is on her banned list. I already own it, and so I don't have to turn it in. Oh, thank you, sweet government. But even though I wouldn't have to turn it in, I would still have to register it. I would have to get photographed, fingerprinted. I'd have to pay probably like a $200 tax fee, they call it, and basically be treated like a child molester to own this thing. And it gets better. When I shuffle off this mortal coil one day, I would not be able to leave this to my children. It would have to be given up to the government upon my death. That just bugs me one of the most. And then, let's see, what else? Oh yes, the magazines. 30-round magazines, 20-round magazines would be illegal. In fact, so would 10-round magazines. Feinstein wants it 9 rounds because she realized that there are so many 10-round magazines out there, thanks to states like California, where I live, and New York and all these other anti-gun states where they limited to 10 rounds a long time ago. But even 10-round magazines wouldn't be enough because she wants it at 9. And we'll talk about that later, magazines. Alright, so for my illustrations tonight, I brought out 4 weapons. First one is on the banned list. Like I said, this is a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport model. It shoots the 5.56mm NATO or .223 caliber Remington round. This is a Marlin 795 22 long rifle, semi-automatic, magazine fed. This is the big mama. This is the Chinese SKS, you know, made from the original Russian model. It's a 7.62 by 3.9mm, and she's a beefy one. And then I also brought out my 92F Beretta 9mm, and also magazine fed, as you can see. Okay, so with that in mind, what's next on my list? Those are the introductions. So she wants to ban assault weapons. You've probably heard these numbers, and if you haven't, this is why I'm doing the post. What was used to kill the most people? Let's do a little pop quiz. How many Americans in the year 2011 were killed with a handgun? I'm going to have to give the numbers right off the top of my head, so I'm going to say it was about 8,500, right along those lines. I may be off by a couple hundred, but it was 8,000 something. So, by far, the most number of murders in the United States were done with handguns. But handguns are not the main focus of Dianne Feinstein's bill that she released today. It's these, not handguns. Yeah, she's after handguns too eventually, but assault weapons. That's been the two words you've heard over and over again. Assault weapons, assault weapons, assault weapons. Alright, so handguns by far were used to commit the most murders. So it wasn't assault weapons, it was handguns. So what's next? Assault weapons? Excuse me. Or what she considers to be an assault weapon? No. Not yet. Next in line is one of these. This is a knife. And a knife was used to commit, what was it, 1,700 murders in 2011? Yep. One of these. Ooh. Yep. These killed a heck of a lot more people than assault weapons did. And then next, what else killed more people than assault weapons, or were used to kill more people than assault weapons? Try one of these. A hammer. And then, well, the statistics said hammers and clubs. So here's a hammer. Here's an axe handle. I keep this under my bed. It'll do in a pinch. I'd rather use one of these or these before I have to get to an axe handle. Hopefully I never will have to. But these were used to kill approximately 500 people in 2011. Yep, these killed or were used to kill more people than assault weapons, or what we call assault weapons. We'll get to the assault weapon thing in a second. Finally, we come to not just assault rifles, but any rifle were used to kill 323 people in the year 2011. So once again, excuse me, about 8,000, about 1,700, about 500, and then finally bringing up the rear, rifles of all kinds, not just what are called assault rifles, but all rifles, even Grandpa's bolt action, rifles were used to kill 323 people in 2011. So that kind of puts things in perspective about how very seldom rifles are used for crime. More often than not, if somebody's going to use a gun for a crime, it's not going to be a rifle, it's going to be one of these. Alright, so now that that's done, let's talk about some nomenclature. The term assault rifle. I'll go into more detail later, but let's just get one thing straight. What I'm holding in my hand is not an assault rifle. Dianne Feinstein wants to call it one, but according to the commonly accepted qualifications of what is an assault rifle, this ain't one. It looks like one, but it's not. And I'm going to do a second video here later where I'll talk in depth about the difference, or more in depth. But the bottom line is, here's the deal. The left is going to continue to call this an assault rifle. You're not going to stop that. What you need to do, my fellow conservatives out there and patriots and liberty lovers, we need to stop calling this an assault rifle. Stop using the words that the enemy uses. And yes, I said enemy. Get over it. Stop using their terms. This is not an assault rifle. Repeat after me. Defensive semi-automatic rifle. Say it with me one more time. Defensive semi-automatic rifle. And that's what you should be calling it. Because this is not an assault. I didn't buy this to assault anybody. I bought this to defend myself, my family, my home, my community, my state, my country. That's why I bought this. Not to assault, to defend. It is a defensive weapon. Now, unfortunately, there are some people out there who take it and use it as an offensive weapon, and those people need to be dealt with. Alright, so I'll talk more about why this is just a defensive semi-automatic weapon and not an assault rifle later on. Now, magazines and clips. Oh my lord, I am so sick of listening to these know-nothing media types and politicians talk about, who was it, Howard Kurtz, I think it was, one of these reporters. One reporter called them high magazine clips. He was trying to say something like high capacity magazines. It came out Well, he didn't say it, he wrote it. It was in a column of his. He called them high magazine clips. Look it up. A reporter said that. Shows how stupid they are. All right. This is a magazine. It is a box, basically, with a spring in it. And this one, well, it has a, I'm in California, so this has a plug in it that limits it to 10 rounds, but this is the size of a magazine that holds 30 rounds. So this is a magazine. This is a clip. Magazine, clip. See the difference? A clip, and here I'll show you one with bullets on it, or cartridges on it. Here's a clip. Here's a magazine. See the difference? So the magazine, the way it works, is it goes in like that, and then a clip, which the SKS uses, a clip, you take it, and there's a slot right here, you slide it in, right there, and then you take your thumb and brrr, you push them in, and they go down into this fixed magazine right here. So that's how a clip works. Stop. Where'd it go? Oh, I put it in the weapon. Well, here's a smaller one. This is also a magazine, but it's a 10-rounder, a true 10-rounder. Stop calling these clips. They are magazines. That's a clip. Thank you. All right. Oh yes. The left always talks about these high-powered rifles. All right. This is a very powerful weapon. It's true. And it will kill you. It's true. Or it will horribly wound you. It's true. But it is not a high-powered rifle. It's an intermediate-powered rifle. Let me show you the difference. It's kind of hard with the camera, but here is the round that my AR model rifle that I was just holding, this is the round it shoots. It's a .223 Remington round. .223. It's just barely bigger than a .22 bullet. It just has more powder behind it than your regular .22 long rifle. Now, this is what it shoots. Looks impressive until you see a true high-powered round. Let me get these. Sorry. That's high-powered. This is a 7.62 by 5.4. This is fired by, oh gosh, what rep? Like a Mosin Nagant bolt-action rifle I know shoots a 7.62 by 5.4. And that would be a hunting round. That's high-powered. Do you see the difference? I hope you do. Alright, so they keep calling these high-powered, but they're very much intermediate-powered. And you saw the difference with the round. Now, the next term, gun violence. Every time Obama opens his mouth about this subject, he just mentions, he never says guns, I want to go after guns. He says, I want to reduce gun violence. And he always talks about these proposed laws, and Feinstein does it too, when they talk about these proposed laws where they want to, you know, take this out of my hands or not let me buy any more, what have you, they say they're doing it because it will reduce gun violence. They say it as a matter of course, as if it's inevitable. All we have to do is ban these and gun violence will be reduced. The hell you say. You know, we've gone over this road before with Great Britain, Australia. They banned guns and violence went up. Gun violence went up. Now, here's what the left said. Well, murders are not the only things done with guns. Guns are used to stick in people's faces for armed robberies, home burglaries. And those went up. After the gun ban in Great Britain, after the gun ban in Australia, crimes like that went up. Alright, so gun violence? No, it didn't solve it. It made it worse. Hunting. The next term is hunting. Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, was big for this. You don't need 10 rounds to shoot a deer. You're right, Governor Cuomo, you don't. In fact, if you use a high-powered bolt-action rifle, one of these will suffice, the big round, 7.62 by 5.4. No, you don't. Here's the deal. First off, the Second Amendment, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but so many people are still stuck on this. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. The Second Amendment is about protecting ourselves from a tyrannical government. Yes, there is the fringe benefit of also protecting ourselves against common criminals, and also protecting ourselves against foreign invasion, but your biggest enemy, your biggest threat is from your own government. Yes, it is, even ours. Because if all you have to do is look through history, read Rammel's writings. He was a University of Hawaii professor. He wrote a book called Death by Government. And you will find that governments kill more people than anything else. And this is meant to protect us from them. The Chucky Schumers and the Dianne Feinsteins of the world. Because when, excuse me, when the government comes a-knocking, you know, you don't want it to come to that point, but it has been reached throughout history. Stalin, Hitler, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. These are people who disarmed their citizens and then killed them. All right, one last one. Oh, no, two last ones. Need. Why do you need one of these? Why do you need an AR-15? First off, it's none of your damn business why I need an AR-15. If I want to own one, I'll own one. If I want to slather chocolate and whipped cream all over my body and lick it off, then I will. It's not up to you, whoever you are out there saying that, to decide what I need and what I don't need. If I want to own one of these, I will. Because I haven't committed any crimes with it, I don't plan on doing it. If anything, I plan on keeping somebody else from committing a crime against me, my family, and state and country and everything I said. So, it's not up to these people who say that to decide what I need. I have a right to own this. I have a right to defend my family and everything else. And if this is the best tool to use it, then by God, that's what I'm going to use. If it's good enough for the military and police, then it's good enough for the U.S. citizen. That's how the Second Amendment is supposed to work. And if somebody misuses one and does bad things with it, then, heck, two things. Those people should be dealt with either by the law or somebody else who's also carrying. That's the way it's supposed to work. Let's see. And then finally, and then we'll end this part of the video, pro and anti-gun. I'm pro-gun. I'm anti-gun. You hear these terms all the time. Stop it with the pro is fine. Stop it with the gun, because it's not about the gun. You know, it doesn't matter if it's this, or this, or this. You are pro-self-defense. Pro-self-defense. Now, these anti-gunners, they are definitely anti-gun, but it goes beyond that. They're not just trying to take your gun away from you. They are taking away your means of defending yourself, your family, your state, your country, all of those and above. They are anti-self-defense. So stop talking about the anti-gun people. Call them anti-self-defense people. And again, if somebody out there knows a better term than I do, as far as, you know, like, I've called this a defensive semi-automatic rifle instead of an assault rifle or assault weapon. If you know a better term, let me know. And, excuse me, and if you know something better than pro-self-defense and anti-self-defense, lay it on me. I'll be happy to hear it. Alright, this is a long enough video. It's at 18 minutes, and so I will do a part 2. But thank you for listening, and I hope I've taught somebody something.